Welcome, everyone. This is so exciting. I have not done a massive practitioner call literally for a year. The last one I did was last May, which is so wild to circle around. So I am honored and excited to be here and share this with you. While I do a patch party every single Wednesday and have for the last 52 plus weeks, minus my recent January and February maternity leave time. I'm very excited to be back and sharing with you. And so I was asked to do this call for practitioners, and it is about time for us to dive in. So much has shifted and changed in the last year, and I cannot wait to share this with you. So at any point in time, you are welcome to throw questions in the chat. We will have a Q&A at the very end, so you can unmic yourself, you can turn your video on and chat. But anything that comes up for you, any question is fair game. I'm more than happy to answer any and all of them. And as we continue on, the new friends that are still popping in, throw in the chat where you're from, who invited you. We are just a very, tight-knit, casual community sharing and with a big heart for serving others and finding really cool ways we could serve them. So you tuned in tonight because I want to blow your mind. That's pretty much why we're all here, right? So blowing your mind with something called LifeWave technology. So I am Dr. Kayla. I am in the upstate of South Carolina, originally from Ohio, born and raised, but have been down in South Carolina for 10 years now. And while I am a chiropractor, I am not your chiropractor or your doctor, and I am not a medical doctor. So anything we talk about here in this formal setting is all education based. It is, yes, to blow your mind, to shift your health perspective, to look at different ways that you may want to tap into in the future. And I'm not at all treating, curing, or diagnosing or serving any of this information to you on a platter of medical advice. So we are all learning and growing. And so why we're here tonight, number one, first and foremost, is to shift your health paradigm. Over the last 10 years in the holistic world, I have completely, radically shifted in the world of how I serve individuals, and it's been such a beautiful evolution. And this is a huge part of that. And I am so passionate about it. That's why I'm sharing this with you tonight, because there's two things that we want to talk about. The first is how we bring new solutions to optimize your client-patient network care, number one. But number two is, which is technically number three, is the third of importance, is your own personal health and self-care as a practitioner, as an individual, as a human being. Because I know I went through a very deep burnout, a deep pit of burnout in serving in my practice, not putting myself first, not tending to my own health and well-being, even though I, think I rationalized myself that I was. And so it's really important as practitioners that we start to share with others, or share with ourselves what we're doing for others, essentially, and being able to put ourselves and our communities first. So we're going to cover the healing tools that help us work smarter, not harder, and what has completely radically shifted my own practice and the health and vitality of my family, as well as several hundreds and hundreds of people, as well as dozens and dozens of practitioners of all walks in life that are on our team, spreading this beautiful message of light. And then number five is residual income. This is something as small business owners, practitioners, those in the healthcare and healing and serving fields don't typically see. And so for 6 years, I took off 4 to 5 weeks a year of my practice, and I had to bust my butt to be able to make money, to be able to go on vacation, to spend that time with my family because there wasn't income coming in when my office doors were closed. And then last but not least, how to do all of this in a very easeful, done for you, well optimized system that you don't have to try to find more time in your week, try to figure out ways to recreate the system. We have systems that work really successfully, hence why all of you are here, and they can help support you and your practice and your own family going forward. So a little bit about myself and my story before we dive into this light technology, so you know who's sharing it from the realness of real life. I live in real life. I walk real life. I have a husband. I have three children, almost six, almost four, and a brand new baby at 3 months old. And I can absolutely do this with so much ease. And so I want to share that this is not something that you have to add a million hours to your plate. This is something that will serve you and your practice members in such such a beautiful, aligned way that you don't have to actually think about it. Because most of us on this call, especially those chiropractic cohorts of mine, are already teaching and educating your practice members on things surrounding this type of self-healing, guided self-healing, and optimum potential and vitality. So my practice is Love and Light Healing. We have been open for almost 7 years now. So we started in formal practice of a brick and mortar in 2019. I was served in a mobile practice when I was pregnant with my first baby, back right before that. And so I opened a brick and mortar in 2019. I then started seeing virtual clients and having an in-practice practice amidst the COVID times in 2020. And I stepped out of practice after an injury in 2021, where my husband then continued to grow our practice while I continued to grow the online virtual community that we were tethering. And so I focus on family wellness. I'm also an animal chiropractor in the virtual world. I practice German new medicine. I help people through self-guided self-healing, whether it be frequency, whether it be these wonderful patches we're working through, and the 5 biological laws. So I see just any about and everyone that you can imagine in terms of pediatrics, prenatals, women's health, and family wellness. I started personally wearing these patches almost 2 years ago, which is so wild to think how time just keeps speeding up on itself. And I took almost a year before I shared them with my practice. So those are out there that are super, in tune with human design. I'm a 1/3 manifestor. I have to experience everything. I have to learn the hard way. So I had to do some due diligence with these patches before I shared them with my community because I had never shared anything with my very tight-knit community of practice members because we are a tonal office. I practiced our release technique and we were subluxation only in our office. And so adding something in was really strategic for me to find a way to share and to make sure that this was the real deal. So I vetted it and I invite you to vet it after you leave here today as well. And so I say all of this because May is our 1 year anniversary of sharing these with our patients in our office. And LifeWave Takeover means that we are reorienting. And so LifeWave has been a beautiful gift to help not only me and myself, my husband, and our family find more time to be able to spend time together without having to be in our office physically so often. It's also helped provide financial means for us to be able to spend more quality time with our family. Having 3 children, wanting to be a family unit more often and not be in our practice, this has provided a really easeful way to still serve our community members and virtual members as well across the world, and to shift into something that is so incredibly aligned with why I fell in love with chiropractic and the philosophy in the first place. And so LifeWave is taking over June 1st. We are going down to less than 10 hours a week in private practice so that we can shift into this full time, even though I pretty much do it full time already from home, serving a team and all that comes with that. So I want to first talk about really the 2 common practice struggles, no matter if you're a chiropractor, no matter if you're an acupuncturist, no matter if you're a naturopath, a holistic wellness doctor, integrative medicine doctor, a dentist. I mean, I don't care who's on here in the serving world, in the helping people industry, whatever our profession is by name, we typically have 2 common practice struggles: trying to find the best thing to do with our patients, how to manage them, getting them the help that we potentially can't help them with, and then what comes with serving constantly from an empty cup majority of the time is burnout. And so this is twofold. This is not only for your patients, this is for you first and foremost. So the reason why I ended up sharing this with my practice members is because in a family wellness practice, I'm not sure if this is how it goes in your office, but it's pretty standard in most of those my colleagues that I talk to, is that we see a lot of chronic issues, especially as a chiropractor. We have a lot of individuals who just have not had answers, gotten the hope that they had hoped for, gotten the solutions that they were looking for. They've tried all the things, they've spent all the money, they've lost hope, and most importantly, they have depleted vital energy. And so, as a chiropractor, as a tonal chiropractor, my job, first and foremost, is to get someone's nervous system functioning, right? I see a lot of depleted overworked, overstimulated, dysfunctional, disharmonized nervous systems, and that leads to very disconnected lived experiences, right? And so they don't get to experience life to the fullest. They're not living in optimum vitality. They're not trusting their innate intelligence. They're not trusting the powers that be that flow in their body that allow them to heal. They don't understand healing in the first place, right? These are all foundational educational things that I always lead with in my practice. And so when I was able to meet LifeWave exactly where it was in this moment, this provided a solution for those situations and those in my practice that were getting referred out and were not getting the referral quality of care they were expecting, and not based off the individual or the practitioner, but based off what the system prevents us from accessing, right? And so it's jumping through hoops. It's having to navigate, opinion versus opinion and not having their inner choice honored. I mean, we went through a massive shift in the very pandemic based times of the world, and that created a lot of challenges for people to be able to access the sovereign care that they deserve and they should have autonomous choice of. And so this is when this wheel started to turn for me. Then you combine that with what I personally went through and can only speak from experience of is the burnout. I went high and fast 24/7 to grow a massive practice, high volume. I was already 125 pounds, had a new baby, was baby wearing a baby 12 hours a day, and dropping weight like it was nothing. I was barely eating. My assistant said to me, "You actually don't even have a lunch break anymore, Dr. Kayla. Like, did you realize that the lunch break got taken off like 3 weeks ago when you had new patients that you needed to shove in there, and you didn't put that break back on? Like, are you gonna eat?" Right? And so then it turned out I was pregnant again. It's like, well, now I need a lunch break. And so it was this constant rigmarole of having to catch up with taking care of myself because I need to take care of my patients first. And so I see this time and time again. I see it all the time in our women's chiropractic groups on Facebook. I'm so burnt out. I want to leave. What other profession can I enter that's going to save me time, give me more money, give me my freedom back? I want to spend time with my family. I want to have more children, right? These are all things that commonly happen in the serving industry of healthcare because we don't focus on ourselves. And so if you are not tuning into self-care, you don't have any more white spaces to fill in an exercise routine, or you don't have the time to prioritize your diet. You're looking at limited time, limited capacity. You're stuck exchanging time for money, even in the practice helping fields, because you have so many individuals. I mean, there's literally billions of people in the world that can absolutely be served by the holistic fields that we're in, alternative medicine fields that we're all in. And we also have to struggle with the overhead and the leverage of all of these things. Running a massive practice, I had a massive overhead that I had to keep up with in order to continue to fulfill that and leverage that time, capacity, and energy. And so when LifeWave walked itself into my life, this created not just a solution for my patients, but it created a solution for myself. And so I want to start really where this all began before we dive into what these patches are. It started over 20 years ago. So last August, I was on the LifeWave 20th anniversary celebration cruise through the Greek Isles, celebrating a 20-year-old company with an incredible CEO, visionary inventor, and a humanitarian-centered scientist and founder, David Schmidt. So 20 years ago, over 20 years ago now in 2004, LifeWave was founded by David Schmidt, who had developed light technology for the U.S. Navy SEALs. So he was contracted by the U.S. government to create a patch or a device for the Navy SEALs to keep them at high alert, to not degrade their long-term health and vitality, and to help keep them stimulated, awake, and aware to do the highest duty job that they had signed up for, right? And so this led to David Schmidt creating LifeWave and the 10 patch suite that we are going to talk about here today. So after 20 years, there's over 200 patents, 90 plus clinical studies, and a new one that just came out that we're actually going to talk about tonight on the call. And it just involved David Schmidt spending 10 years over at the renowned Stem Cell University in Ireland, National University of Ireland, creating what we see here is the X39 patch. So as of today, It's available in over 100 countries. They've invested over $100 million into research and development. They're constantly and consistently doing research to uphold to the highest standard. They are in great integrity with the science behind this company and humanitarian efforts, and it is the fastest growing in its industry for the past 4 years. And so their mission is to become a household name, and that's exactly what's going on. Those chiropractors, physicians, other individuals, practitioners that have joined efforts in sharing LifeWave have come to me through their patients telling them about it, or them seeing it and seeing what it's doing and seeing their patients wearing that. So that tells me that this is becoming a household name, and this is no different than brushing your teeth or getting your nervous system checked. And so you are literally coming in to learn about this at the absolute perfect time, because there is massive growth happening and we are watching the health paradigm shift completely so quickly. It's like a vortex of how it's changing and how people are really awakening to the idea that our body has the power to self-heal. So let's talk about this patch right here. Yes, it looks just like a sticker. This patch is the X39 patch. This is the proprietary patch of the LifeWave suite. This is your foundational patch. This is the one that everybody should be wearing. Just like everybody should get their nervous system checked and adjusted, everybody should be wearing this patch. This patch is made of organic crystals. It forms a perfect lattice structure. So think 3D printer. It's a patented structure that it utilizes your own body's light. There is no ingredients in this. You are becoming your own solar panel for self-healing. Those are my chiropractic friends on here, all of my innate intelligence people, 33 principles, right? We talk about the subluxation means there's less light in your body and you're bringing that light back to the nervous system. This is the same concept, photobiomodulation. It's looking at how our body can help regenerate, heal, and of course, age reverse tissue because we were created to heal and thrive. And so it doesn't use any power from the outside, it only uses the power from the inside, and that is your own light. So, of course, it is a universal truth. We all know seasonal depression is a thing, right? It's like even those who don't have depression, all of a sudden the sun comes out and you're like, wow, I didn't realize I was seasonally depressed. The sun feels so good today, right? And so, what happens and why is the sun so important for us? Well, the sun is a form of photobiomodulation. You go out into the sun, you get your 20 minutes of sunlight a day, and that is boosting to helping you synthesize vitamin D. So, when you utilize the sun, you can utilize it to create a biological variant, specifically vitamin D. When you utilize this patch, you utilize this patch to help stimulate a biological variant of production in your body to its degree of which it wants to utilize it to heal. So when we're looking at this, I said it's non-transdermal, meaning nothing's going into the skin. It's completely non-invasive. There's no drugs, no chemicals, no stimulants, no dosing necessary, no side effects, and my favorite, no contraindications, no drug interactions because there's nothing in this patch. And so I talked about this idea that we could put this on our body. The heat and light that comes off of our body, our infrared light that we're always emitting into the world, reflects off this patch like a mirror, and it promotes a biological variant to be produced in our body by our body on its own terms, right? And so this specific one for X39, which is the powerhouse patch for a reason, is the GHK copper peptide. And the GHK copper peptide, if you go search on PubMed, you're going to get 30 some plus pages of the powers of GHK copper peptide of healing in the body. And some people are injecting it, some people are putting it in vitamins, some people are putting it in products, some people are putting it from the outside in. This is the inside out. This is the holy grail of healing, and it was discovered by Dr. Loren Pickart in 1973. And I love reading about if you're like a nerd, like I am, going and reading about how he discovered GHK copper peptide after 40 years of really diving into this peptide and its holy grail of healing. So I'm going to share a lot of that with you right now, and it won't take me 40 years, I promise. But the benefits of GHK copper peptide are widespread. It is in thousands and thousands of vital functions of the body. So if we look at hair, skin, and nails, we could see that GHK has a role in loosening and tightening loose skin, in reducing fine lines and wrinkles, in increasing hair growth and thickness, and of course, accelerating wound healing, which is a major thing. Next, we already talked about the pandemic situation. We all know what happened to the lung situation, and this is wonderful for helping restore vital function to our respiratory areas of our body. Next is fast-growing cells. We've all been told, and so have our patients, that that is the end-all be-all of our existence, right? There's never going to be any type of situation in which anything in regards to the big C word is going to change, and not the C word that regards to lungs, the C word that regards to fast-growing cells. And so we could see based off of GHK research how powerful GHK copper peptide is at aiding in the healing and vital energy component of reversing our vitality in that direction. So next, though, I love to focus on this is the brain and nervous system component. The brain and nerves, of course, is our jam as chiropractors. And so this helps upregulate, downregulate, balance our mood, upregulate communication, right? So this is from anything from traumatic injury all the way down to long-term degeneration. We're going to see some really cool shifts and transformations here of self-healing that are and have been unheard of. And so I want to pause for a second, especially on this call. This isn't something I talk about typically in my weekly calls, but it is something that as practitioners, we feel sometimes pretty pressed to what is possible in terms of potential. And so I will share kind of vulnerably, I've always been a person that has just absolutely believed the body can heal even under the most extreme of circumstances. For me, that's my personal my personal devotion that I really think we were created in such sacred and powerful essence that we have all of the tools inside of us. And I know there's varying degrees of that across the chiropractic perspective, but when I say witnessing people wear these patches and heal in ways that truly made me question how possible I actually thought that was pretty profound. And so there was a massive health paradigm shift that even had to happen for me in experiencing and witnessing the transformations that happened in my own practice, with my own family, and of course within myself. And so I share this because I feel most strongly that these patches, of course, we could list tons of things about the benefits of GHK copper peptide, but the biggest thing for me is the brain and nerve component, and not just around the brain and nerves, but around the mental health expression and who we are in lived experiences and that optimum potential of who we are. Next is antioxidant power. So, of course, antioxidants were such a huge, I think, a huge trend a couple years ago. Everybody was, boosting their antioxidants with elderberry syrup and making sure they're getting all of their, good nutrients, and they're reducing oxidative stress, and they're activating all of these things in their body. And so this is, of course, a very powerful way to do so. But the reason why we're all here, let's be honest, is the GHK benefit of activating stem cells. And so GHK copper peptide is known to cause adult stem cells to start producing again, to help stem cells reset themselves to a younger age, and to activate them in terms of vital energy of healing. So let's talk about just for a minute what is a stem cell, and I'm sure most of you probably know what a stem cell is, but just to reiterate, stem cells are completely blank cells. They are cells that can be turned into any type of tissue to help regenerate and heal different parts of our body. And so, of course, we're born with tons and tons and tons of stem cells, and over time, we utilize them, and they start to decline. And some may tell you that we don't ever produce anymore, and that we're stuck with what we got. And whatever part of the predictive programming we've been sold on that. But I'm here to tell you that this is an opportunity for you to radically shift your perspective on this today, because we do not have to be the age that we are determined to be in terms of our experience. We've been told midlife crisis happens like at 65. Honey, that's not midlife. That is literally later in life. Midlife is 20 to 35 based off of what our average ages that we're living based off male and female. And so when we start to break this down, we can see we are aging so fast and our healing goes the opposite direction. So as we age, that healing goes slower and slower. And so what do we see? We typically see that most individuals by age 30, 40, 50 are starting to have more chronic health expressions. And we're seeing them at rapid rates, especially with the high stress and what we're experiencing in our day-to-day lives. And so by the time you are 65, you only have about 5% of your stem cells left. And so what can happen when we start activating these stem cells and activating these master cells with producing our own GHK, copper peptide in our body from our own light, essentially being a generator, reflecting that back into ourselves or a solar panel, we start to create and activate these stem cells to mobilize them to move to areas of highest priority in the body. And this is one of my favorite things to talk about because when we talk about innate potential, we talk about innate intelligence. It has its own schedule, it's on its own time, it has its own course of moving and its own speed that it wants to move at and heal. And so, as much as we as humans want to heal something by tomorrow, this is where our stem cells get to play the game. They start to go and repair the body's tissue that is most important and highest priority. And so, again, this is a great conversation to have with patients because sometimes we don't feel healing as it's happening. It's just maybe quiet and quiet and quiet, and then all of a sudden something goes away, or we notice a massive shift, or we even forget we had X, Y, and Z symptom or condition in the first place. And this is what's happening. Our stem cells start to heal and repair, and then we could feel the changes and we start to move on to noticing them. And so it does take time. And so LifeWave's recommendation is to patch with X39 1 month per decade you are old to experience the minimum stem cell benefits and mobilization. So if you are 50, that's 5 months, 60, that's 6 months. And after a year of having patients in my practice patch for a year, I challenge everybody from what I've seen to patch for 1 year with X39 minimum. I'm on year 2. My patients are on year 1. And I always say, if you're frustrated and you're looking for your miracle, this is not the time to stop. It's kind of like birth. When you want to give up and be done, the baby finally comes. It's the same concept, right? And so I invite everybody to start patching for at least a year because things will change and shift massively. However, that doesn't mean things aren't working. Behind the scenes, as soon as you put this patch on, it is starting to work. So what to expect when you start wearing this patch? You put this patch on, and in the first 24 hours, it's a gene modulator. 4,000 genes begin to reset. And so as you start to multiply and add those days together, you get 4,000, 8,000, and you keep continuing moving on. You activate this new army of stem cells in your body that are able to mobilize and go to areas of highest priority first. And all of you out here in the holistic world and alternative measures, we know that the most critical areas don't have motor and sensory components. And so this may be going and repairing something that we as humans don't even know we have yet, or we don't even know we need help in yet, or we don't even know it needs to be repaired. And so we're being at the ultimate highest level of being proactive that we absolutely can. And this aligns 100% with those of us in the proactive vital health and optimization field. Next comes the brain balancing. So within 6 weeks, research shows that the brain's becoming more balanced. We're seeing a decrease in multiple symptoms such as depression, anxiety, better sleep, and of course, restored memory, which is so powerful. So we're talking about brain cognition, neurological function. This is what I absolutely love to witness and see. Next, within 3 months of patching, collagen is starting to increase. So this is where I get testimonials over the past year where it's like, wow, I started patching because I had knee pain. I was preparing for a knee surgery. And now guess what? I'm 6 months in and I canceled my knee replacement surgery. That's how powerful the body is to heal. And that individual is over the age of 70. And in my belief system, it was like, well, I'm not so sure, right? Because I had this big spectrum of healing that I really believe we could 100% optimize and vitalize on, but I still had a limitation. And so I found my limitation. It was completely blown out of the water in terms of my mindset. Next is my favorite stat to see, and this is within 6 months. So within 6 months of patching, every day that you patch with this X39, your cardiovascular system becomes a day and a third younger. So do the math. I mean, we are not just changing our metabolic stats. We're not just improving our heart rate variability, our brain balancing, our organ function. We are actually metabolically age reversing. And of course, 12 months, what happens after 12 months? Take the GHK copper peptide sheet that I just talked about and add it and multiply it by times 12 months. What is going to happen? Even if you just walked every day for 12 months, you would have massive shifts. If you ate a different meal every single day for 12 months, you'd have a massive shift. So having this help activate your master cells via your own light is a huge shift to undergo. And it's so simple to wear. I mean, when I say this is way easier than even brushing your teeth, you brush your teeth in the morning and you put this patch on and you wear it for 12 hours and then you brush your teeth at night and you take the patch off. It doesn't get any more simple than that. And so it is a 12-hour on, 12-hour off system. And you are able to utilize this at a daily rate for X39. You increase your water for better hydration. It is works on the electrical chemical gradient, so conductivity is more efficient with water in the system. You add some real salt, so Celtic salt, Redmond's real salt, Baja Gold salt. You add that to help with that electrical chemical gradient of minerals in the body to utilize for effectiveness and to bring salt and water back into the cells of our body for vitality. And my favorite, which is everybody's favorite most commonly, eat some dark chocolate, 70% cacao or above every single day to have enough copper in your body to utilize the ingredients to make beautiful GHK copper peptide so it can go and utilize and be utilized in the areas of your body that need it most. And so I want to share this as well because this is what blows my mind the most. And I just, of course, I always wear my patches most of the time up here by my face. And so when I've had patients come into my office saying, oh, I've either gotten great benefits from stem cells or I got them and they didn't last long, I wish they lasted longer, they always ask, is there anything else I can do? And yes, you can absolutely do this. You can utilize this because the patch beats out the injection every single time. Not just terms of financially, these are like $2 to $4 a day, depending on how many patches you're utilizing, how often you're utilizing them, and what you're utilizing in terms of your patch protocol and the patch suite, compared to anywhere from $4,000 to $6,000 a limb or a joint, and most of the time we have two of them. And so it becomes very painful. It's an outside in thing, which isn't my cup of tea. It's invasive, and of course, we don't have long-term benefits from it. It's not, you'd have to keep getting them over and over and over. And there is a limitation to matter when we work on that topic. So I want to share this just for all of the clinicians on here because there is so much beautiful research that is done on these patches that doesn't typically get to shine because most people are not reading this research. So this is my favorite to share with y'all. So why is this different, right? Why is this different from a supplement, a vitamin? Why is this different from anything else that we're commonly offering in our practices? And that's because it is not a product that you could get anywhere else. It's not a Me Too product. This is not a lotion, a potion, a cream, a supplement that anybody can make. This is a 20-year patented product with over 20 years of success behind it. And utilizing it in various means of all ages, all types of research, from those in their 60s, 70s, and 80s to those who are professional athletes and everyone in between. There's no ingredients, there's no chemicals, and there's no transdermal delivery, so we're not putting anything into the body. This is 100% aligning with the health shift that we are a part of right now that helps educate individuals the power and potential of their healing body. So whether you're giving adjustments, you are an acupuncturist and you're giving acupuncture, you're doing some type of body work, energy work, or it's any type of holistic or alternative medicine care, this can be easily integrated because you don't have to do anything. You don't have to prescribe anything. You have to just hand them and educate them on the power and potential of their optimization of their body, and it does the rest. Their body is left to do exactly what it knows how to do. So there's lots of double-blind placebo studies that you could look up. I highly invite you to go to startx39now.com where you could look at all of the research. You could listen to testimonials. You could read all of the patents that exist on these products. We could talk about stem cell markers in that research, how it improves HRV, brain balance, organ function, especially the new research that has come out in the study showing a stronger defense system with 24-hour rapid response seen in tissue repair in this research. Also, C-reactive protein being reduced within 1 to 2 hours of putting on the X39 patch. So you're balancing the inflammatory response. And then we also can talk about mitochondrial function and the membrane potential when there's oxidative stress present. So we're actually reducing oxidative stress, free radicals, and actually age reversing in terms of metabolically and improving mitochondrial function. So all of my nerds on here, hey, that's what we're talking about. I never get to present on that because most people I talk to on Wednesday are like, oh, I want to heal this. I don't really care about the science, but I love the science, everyone. So it actually will slow down and age reverse the aging process. And I think that's the most powerful thing. A wonderful colleague of mine, Dr. John Harmon, practices in Idaho. He is a neurodegenerative and neurocognitive clinician in the chiropractic field who's literally done everything under the sun in terms of supplements, vitamins, technology you could imagine. And he, over the past 5 years, reversed his bundle branch block by his body utilizing its own light to create GHK copper peptide to heal his heart. And so he wrote an entire book on all of the research that this one patch, GHK copper peptide, benefits in our body. So I invite you to go check that out. He's also wrote another book on one of the other powerful patches in the suite that we will talk about. And that leads me to this last section here before we open to questions, because we talked a lot today about X39. X39 is the patented proprietary structure that we need to create GHK copper peptide utilizing our own light. This is the patch. If it's only one patch you choose, this must be the patch. However, we have other ways to optimize our vital energy and your patient's vital energy to help them and promote them through that healing process of self-healing, no matter what they're experiencing. And so the beauty of this is we're not treating anything with these patches. You cannot mess this up. Your body knows exactly what to do when it has the right means to make its ingredients that it absolutely needs to run the functions and the healing that it already wants to do. And so by putting these patches on your body, honestly, it is the easiest thing. You cannot mess it up. And we could add more vital pools of energy by adding more patches for various biological variants. So we talked about X39. Let's talk quickly about X49. X49 is the sister peptide to GHK. It is AHK, copper peptide, and this helps promote the cardiovascular system, bone density, strengthening the body, as well as lungs, as well as blood. It helps to promote and stimulate the frontal lobes for all of my neurocognitive friends. This is a fantastic patch for that. All of my athletes, or I just like to say those who are even weekend warriors, they move their body in some type of a way. This is fantastic to help with active recovery, as well as bone density in older individuals. Next, we have Eon. This is a broad spectrum anti-inflammatory patch. It is beautiful. It will melt away tension in the body. It'll help melt away inflammation, but it also stimulates the parasympathetic nervous system. So all of those in my practice who have mental health, anxiety, depression, whatever they're calling it in terms of their quote unquote condition, this is a fantastic way for me to help utilize their own light to balance their nervous system in addition to getting adjusted. This is really, really fantastic to help regulate their body in ways that most people have not experienced in decades. Next is carnosine. Carnosine helps promote the essential nutrient amino acid in your body and self-production of carnosine in the body for various means. Think bone, or sorry, think blood, think brain, think heart, so blood pressure, blood sugar, any type of organ system function. This also can help modulate and release the natural detoxification of aluminum in the brain, so think brain function as well. Then we have glutathione. Glutathione is a master detoxer, but also master immune booster of the body. And so this is great for regular defense. It's really great to optimize in terms of healing. So if we're talking about any type of health expression, infection, recovering from any type of health expression, this is also just fantastic to help boost our natural vital energy sources of healing in our body. Next is Alavita. Alavita is another book that Dr. John Harmon wrote all about the powers of epitalin peptide. This is a wonderful patch. It's also a very powerful patch for not just hair, skin, and nails, but think internal skin, regulating cortisol, helping regulate circadian rhythms. It's fantastic for blood. It's wonderful for promoting sleep, and it also works on a hormonal level as well. This one is kind of a catch-all, just like X39 is a catch-all. I actually wear it. I just put this on. I wear it in the evening hours and nighttime. It's really great to help relax the nervous system as well, and also helps reduce fine lines and wrinkles and tonify skin. Next, we have SP6. This is all hormones. So this is hormones, endocrine system, autonomic nervous system organs. So thyroid, kidneys, adrenals, intestines, liver, pancreas, you name it, hypothalamus. This is your jam. Fertility, menopause, pre, peri, post menopause, irregulated cycles, imbalanced menstruation, you name it. This is wonderful patch to help regulate. It also can help balance appetite. It could upregulate protein intake if someone's not eating a wonderful diet, which is also wonderful to add into someone's routine, and they just haphazardly, their body communicates to them that they need to eat more effectively and efficiently. If you're not eating the best of foods, it will help really downregulate those sugar cravings as well. Then we have Silent Nights. This is for a deeper, healthier sleep. It helps naturally produce melatonin in the body, and so your body can produce more melatonin without having to put it exogenously in the body, which of course we know is more effective when it's endogenously made. And then serotonin as a derivative of that. This is really fantastic for kiddos or adults somewhere on the spectrum or who are neuroatypical. It helps really regulate their circadian rhythms in a really beautiful way. Next is Energy Enhancer. This was the first patch that was created over 20 years ago. It really is a grounding energy. A lot of older individuals wear it on the bottom of their feet to prevent slips and falls. It's not a stimulant. It's not like a Monster or an energy drink. It is a patch that you can utilize to clear out all of the blocked chi in your body for those who are in Eastern medicine. It also is great for nausea, respiratory issues, clearing out any type of health expression, congestion. It'll clear up the damp lung fields. It could be utilized for nausea, acid reflux, or it could just be utilized for a regular natural flow of really nice grounded energy all day long to make you feel stronger, more grounded, and you take it off when you go right to sleep without a dump or any type of excess stimulus. The last two are LifeWave and AccuLife. These are the same patch. As an animal chiropractor, I utilize all patches on the animals. AccuLife is marketed for pain relief in animals. So LifeWave and AccuLife they're the same patch. You could wear them as a human or as an animal. But the LifeWave is a really incredible patch for those suffering chronic pain. It will stop 15-year chronic neck pain in its tracks in about 3 to 5 minutes. It will work on a hot disc. It is amazing for any type of fibromyalgia or any type of chronic inflammatory pain that long-standing won't go away that people have tried everything for. You just have to find the right place to pain gate so it actually works off of polarity and it breaks up the pain channels because pain is essentially just blocked energy not able to move in the body. So once you break up those pain channels, this is a patch you can wear for 24 hours. So if you could get somebody out of pain and patch them with X39, you're helping promote long-term healing and also getting them out of pain without drugs, without stimulants, without chemicals into their body, which we know we live in a world where a lot of that is very addictive and we're all trying to get away from it. So it's a wonderful solution for individuals that are in pain. I want to just share a couple stories here. This is Marcy. Marcy was experiencing fast-growing cells in her breast tissue. Back in 2019, she had taken on conventional treatment and she was not experiencing any type of vitality in her life or healing. And so she was moving towards transition when a practitioner friend of hers handed her a handful of 10 patches and said, "Why don't you try this?" And so she tried it. And she was gifted these 10 patches in September of 2019. On the first 2 days, she noticed the chemo taste coming in her mouth as she was moving through those treatments. She started detoxing, she noticed. On day 5, her skin and her hands became really soft. And this is the vital energy component. On day 10, she noticed she had enough emotional energy to feel like she had the will to live again, which is huge, which it's providing hope for people who don't even have enough vital energy for hope, let alone healing. And that is the biggest thing that I have witnessed in the past year. It doesn't matter what condition, ailment, symptom, prognosis that someone has been limited to. This provides vital energy for emotional shifts, for mental clarity, for well-being, and believability that the potential still exists that their body can absolutely heal. This, of course, we typically see this on the opposite flip side, but this is a really beautiful picture of all this degeneration and cord interference being beautifully restored. And I've met several people who have gotten injections of stem cells and paid tens of thousands of dollars for this to happen, and they were appalled when they learned that they could have done this with a patch. This here's a 77-year-old woman who had thermography scans done for brain health and inflammation. You can see here the first scan, lots of high inflammatory markers. After just 2 and 3 sessions of wearing the patch, her inflammation drastically decreased. She had improved memory, focus, and better cognitive brain function. And of course, we'll be increasing the GHK-Cu peptides that helped support the stem and nerve cell regeneration, which led to this decreased brain inflammation. This one always blows the mind of all of my chiropractic friends. This took a few months for this transformation to happen. And yes, this individual is, over the age of typically when we see these things being corrected, right? And so the body wants to heal. I mean, this is something that I have seen and experienced in practice as well, and things that we've been limited to believe that aren't ever going to change. And that has shifted even my belief system even more than I ever expected it to. Next is something that happens with everybody. Before you start wearing these patches, take pictures of your entire body. Your body will start to shift and unwind tension from scars, from areas of disharmony that are maybe from different skin blemishes or different experiences that you may have gone through, different traumas and such. And so we see the biggest shift happening with X39 typically in the first month of what we're experiencing, removing our scars and our trapped tissues and unwinding these things that really get caught up in our fascia and limit our expressive life and moving our bodies the way we really should truly be able to move them throughout our aging process. This is an individual who has gone through radiation treatments, and this is just a 1 month transformation of the wounds on her face. And so you could see how beautiful her skin has healed itself, and the tone, the texture, and everything has completely changed as she navigated through that treatment. This is a little boy whose finger was cut off, and so he was taken to the hospital. They sewed his finger back on. The fingertip died, and so someone handed him a few X39 patches. Within just a few days, the finger retook, and this is the full healing process of what that finger looked like. So wound healing, we don't talk about wound healing as much as I really think we should with these patches, but it is extremely, extremely profound. So what's next? We're going to take some questions, but I really want to invite you to start to dive into what the potential that can exist for you, and not just for you, but the power of your family and your community. So the next steps, of course, would be choosing which patches are best for you, choosing who you are wanting to patch, and then as a practitioner, getting plugged in to us helping you with these incredible resources so that you don't have to add any more time, energy, or effort on your plate. We've done this. It's been tested, tried and true. So we have an easy done for you system. We've success tried it out. It works beautifully. All of you on the call are here because someone invited you here because this works so beautifully in sharing with others. And we have tools and strategies to help you do so. I host weekly calls to educate and to help you and your patchers that you're patching in your practice understand and learn. So you don't have to do that. You don't have to sit down and educate them like I am. I am here as a resource for that. We have online training portals. We have things that they can easily go through and access for free so that you don't have to be caught up in something else. This is literally sharing the light that we have inside of us through humanity to shift a huge healing paradigm unlike we've seen before. And then what I talked about in the beginning, it's not always about money, but it is nice to be able to take a vacation and have residual income coming in. And so for the past year, every time I've taken time off from my office, every time my husband has closed the office, I was on 6 weeks of maternity leave, and I was making more money on maternity leave than I did in the first year of my practice. It was so easy to just share this, and it's led to a really beautiful co-creative ability to not just share with people online, to grow an incredible community of doctors, practitioners, medical doctors, you name it, all over the world that get to come here and have a community and a tight and close-knit group of changing people's lives even outside of our practice doors. And so I just want you to know, whatever you take from today, I highly recommend you go research this, you do your due diligence. Don't just listen to me, because that's what I did. And I invite anybody to test it, to try it, and to really tap into that, because you're not alone. We have incredible support for you to grow here together if that's something that you choose. And so we'll go over the options here at the very end, but I want to just take some time for questions and invite you guys to reach back out to those that invited you. Hello, Tammy. Um,
Hi.
yeah, go ahead,
Oh, I
sweetie.
just have a question. I have a
Yeah,
question, Dr. Kayla, because I
yeah,
would love for you to share. I think everybody else is thinking this. So, me as a holistic health practitioner, I'd love to know how you implement this with your clients, like your patients. You
yeah.
say, hey, I'm going to give you these patches. I'm going to sell you these patches. I'm going to sign you up with a kit. What is your process?
So my process, and this is our very, this is the mission of our team, and I think that's why we are very successful, is we don't sell anybody anything. You know, when you have a network and you have people who trust and genuinely love and care about you, and you have their best interests in mind, they're coming to you and they're trusting you with their health. And so whatever you recommend to them in that trusted relationship is what most of the time they're going to go look at, gather information for, and test it out. And so we have several options for systems to implement. As someone coming in as a new practitioner wanting to share this technology, I invite them first, get it on yourself, but purchase a kit that allows you to share with your practice members and share with your community. So buy the big kit. Write it off as a business expense and start to hand these things out and get testimonials from people. That's what I did. I took these patches, I bought a bunch of them, I gave them to the most imbalanced people that I've seen the longest in my practice that needed the best results, right? And so I gave them to them and I gave them 3 and 5 days worth of samples. And I said, just tell me what you feel. I'm going through this too, right? Like you don't have to know everything, you don't have to have it figured out. You genuinely loving and caring about them, and you found something so cool that can completely, in my opinion, do things that are out of our scope of healing as a spectrum of practitioners, because we're also niched in into what we're allowed and what we're not allowed to do. And when you put this on the body, it's up to the body. And it's not up to you of what scope to tell that patch what to do. It's up to the body and what it wants to do. And so that was my mission when I handed these patches out. And so I did that, and people came back on day 1 and day 2 like, I need to order these. I just feel so different. I feel like I've been plugged into like a power source. I slept for the first time last night. My pain went away. I feel like even though I've been getting my nervous system adjusted for 5 years with you, I was actually able to think straight when I woke up. I wasn't as mean to my children after being stimulated for them by 12 hours. That's me. By the way, that's my testimonial. Like there's so many things that even if you are in the highest regard of health and doing all the things that you can do, people trust you and they want to experience that. And so that's my recommendation. That's the system and strategy we utilize, is to be like, hey, I have something I'm trying out. Do you want to try a couple of days and, in exchange, give me a testimonial and see if this works for you, and educate them? This aligns with what we do in our practices, right? It's no different than recommending a vitamin or a supplement. And most of the time, that's what people ask. They don't even know this technology exists. Like, doc, what vitamin can help me? And I'm like, oh, no, no, no. We're not talking vitamins. This is the source of what your body needs to self-heal. And they're like, well, tell me about it, and then they're gonna wear it. And all I have to say to them is like, well, how long should I wear this? And I'm like, well, I think you should wear it for at least a year, right? Like you just have to be truthful and transparent and heart-centered with people. And that's how all of our systems are built. So I don't sell them anything. I just share with them what I really think can help them. And it's helped every single person that I've shared it with in some ways that are exactly what they wanted. And most of the time, it's in ways they never even knew they needed in terms of benefit, because you don't know what you don't know until your life changes. So, in short and in long answer, that is how we recommend, and we have systems built for that.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Yeah, you're so welcome. Awesome. So I want to, before we take a couple more questions here, I want to share the opportunity for you to try out some patches for yourself, because you've been so lovely and you've hung in this entire hour and listened to me ramble on about something I'm so passionate about. I want to gift you the opportunity to experience them for yourself. And while I want to say this as well, is like just like in chiropractic or in other health fields, some people come in and they are the one thing wonder, right? They get one adjustment and everything goes away, or they get one vitamin and everything goes away, right? And while we wish that for everybody, that's sometimes not the case. And we all know that as practitioners, because our body takes time to heal and to return vital energy and to heal cellularly. So some things you may notice in the first couple of days of patching may be energy related, or most people just experience, I feel different. And then when they don't have a patch on that fourth day, when they ran out of their patches, they're like, oh wait, this is something I really need. This is something that I just feel different when I was wearing it. Or you have better sleep, or you drink more water, or you just feel more complete. And so there are people who we patch and their fatigue of 20 years goes away. Magical, right? It's incredible. And so healing is a continuum. So I invite you, if you try these patches, don't try to be a one patch wonder. You might be, but I invite you to really think and track what you notice throughout your time of wearing these patches, and really start to dream up what may be potentially possible for you if you extended this over a year's time. So if you would love sample patches, Email me at hello@drkayla.love, your name, your mailing address, and who invited you so I could let that person know that you have patches coming to you from me. Perfect. All right, anybody can, let's see, I have some questions maybe in here. Do, do, do.
I can also speak if you
Yeah,
want to like
go for it.
the gold of continuing because I was not a one patch wonder. However, I was pretty quickly plugged into energy that I like vital energy that I was like, when is the last time I felt this? Did I ever feel it? And it went through waves where I was like, oh no, it's come the the energy dip is coming back. And it really was just another opportunity. Like it's okay to rest. And it's a spiral, right? Like healing is a spiral to me, or regeneration is a spiral. And so I'm grateful that I realized that this was just part of it and continued on. And if I was to stop at 4.5 months, which would have been the minimum recommendation, I would have completely missed out on really amazing benefits. So I'm super excited to be at a year and beyond. So I just invite people like a year, like remember that your miracle is happening
Mhm.
always um all through the waves and whatever is happening.
Yay, thank you so much. I love your story and your testimony. And we have it recorded, so if anybody wants to see it. We have M's beautiful testimonies of so many things that were just completely unexpected. And just really, really on time, even though she wasn't looking for them. They were just so beautifully woven in her experience. I want to answer some questions in the chat real quick. Felicia asked that she's heard so many different answers as to where these are supposed to be placed on the body to be most effective. So when you get your patches, you will have patch placement recommendations that are recommended based off of where they did the clinical studies. I personally recommend starting with those. Make it easy, make it simple, don't be overwhelmed because you don't want to lose your consistency. So it's easier to just put them on your body than to try to find a specific place. Follow the recommendation. After a few weeks or months, as you feel guided to, maybe intuitively, you will start to place them in different places. You may look up a different protocol. You may be very familiar with acupuncture and acupressure points that you could start utilizing them. The key is you can't do this incorrectly. If they're on your body's going to utilize them. You can just be more specific sometimes. And so I don't want people to ever freak out that they're doing it wrong. Just follow what the recommendations are, and over time, you could try them out in different places and adapt them to you. Next, let's see. Ooh, it's storming here now. I always love a good storm. Let's see. How do you send the patches with patients? I'm always worried they're going to activate all of them while they're taking them home. Perfect. This is a great question. So I'm going to kind of share this wholesale kit option. This is how we recommend doing it on our team for the most easeful, not having to take time out of your practice. We do not hold inventory. We do not retail patches. We do not hold them in our office. We do not have any of those accessible except for the samples. So if someone wants to buy a pack of patches, we have to order it online. My husband is in private practice by himself. We have a full-time assistant, but she's virtual. So he does not have the time to actually hand out these things and run payments and do all of that. So we utilize an order form system. And so basically we have order forms in our office that if they fill out the bottom of the order form, they book a call with me, or I've already talked to them, or I give them a recommendation of a kit that I already have built out, which is part of our strategies and tools, which you'll get access to for your patients, that you just hand them the protocol, you hand them what they're going to order or what you're going to order for them, and then we do wholesale kits because they get the best price at the wholesale kit option, and it's very hands off. You don't have to manage it. They get an auto ship order. They stay consistent. It's built in consistency and built in support. They also get added to our Telegram channel where myself, other practitioners support them. They get access to training. And so that is how we run our system. So we are not sending these patches home with people. If we are giving them samples to get sent home, we patch them with the first day of samples there, and we put them in a little clear baggie, and we send them home with our little materials that we create that we have for you in the back office for you to purchase and to send them home with. So very easeful system. We don't have to worry about them deactivating patches as long as they are in an envelope, and they are not set in direct sunlight for excessive time. They're going to be just fine. And dun, 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 starting out, do your Do you purchase all the patches or do you start with one or two types and build from there? Great question. So I typically recommend, depending on where you want to start, these are the 3 wholesale kits. So you have a core kit, which is $295. You get up to 6 sleeves of patches. Most commonly, people do X39 and 4 support sleeves. You could do 2 sleeves of X39 and 2 Eons. I recommend starting with X39 and Eon and then adding patches as you go. You should most of the time, of course, be wearing X39 daily. You start to Eon at daily, and then you start to integrate other patches as time goes on. That our training portal explains how to do so and how to easily implement that based off what patches. But depending on their budget, how long they're wanting to commit from the front end to sign up if they want to save money, they can move to the advanced pack and get up to 12 sleeves of patches. This gives them a lot patches for a lot longer. They get more support patches to try. I recommend as practitioners, though, coming in at least the advanced kit as minimum or the premium because you could get one of every pack of patches with the advanced kit and you could test them out for yourself and on your patients and give them out as samples and try them in your on your for yourself and your family. At all 3 rates of these wholesale kit options, you can earn commissions because you're opting in as a brand partner for wholesale kit. You don't have to sell if you're a brand partner. You could simply opt in to be a brand partner just to get wholesale pricing on patches, and so can your patients. I also teach and educate how you can, or your patients themselves, how they can refer their friends and family to get their patches paid for by an easy referral process. So it's a very easy, streamlined system. With these 2 patches, kits of patches, I recommend putting an auto ship order on to stay consistent of at least X39. With the big pack of patches, you're going to get up to 40 sleeves. Most practitioners, when they're implementing into their bigger practices and networks, they are going to opt for the premium because you're going to get a ton of patch samples to hand out, and you don't have to put an auto ship order on for 12 weeks. You remain active for 12 weeks. So this is more for the practitioner that's really wanting to dive in, start to share and scale. It is super easeful to share these patches and to make your investment back in just a few short weeks, if not the first week. I made my investment back in the first week by patching all of my patients. It was super easeful and it just grew massively from there without really even trying because patients are wearing these in the office and they're seeing them and then all of a sudden like, what is that? I saw that on somebody else. Can I try that? I want one, right? It's a beautiful, just beautiful lineage and experience that snowballs itself. So I would recommend wherever you're comfortable, starting there, getting the patches, trying them, and then just adding them as you go. And you could always add more. You could wear one of every patch if you wanted to over time as you get adapted to them. These patches aren't going to have interactions or cause anything that you couldn't wear one of every patch if you truly wanted to. Let's see. Thank you, Tiffany. In one of your manuals, there are a few protocols for energy imbalance between upper lower body, side split left and right. After how many weeks on X39 and Eon do you recommend this? Is it is it one of my manuals or is it one of the LifeWave or I mean the manuals from somebody that's written them? If you want to unmute yourself, you can.
I think I got it from the boards from you.
Oh, okay. Is it the only one that I've written is for um pregnancy and prenatal. Is it that one or is it a different one?
No, it is a different one.
Okay.
I think it's
The one
there.
on the boards is that self-healing with light, and the
Oh,
other
gotcha.
one that the other guy wrote.
Okay. So I would recommend starting with the recommendations for the patches that come with the patches themselves. In a lot of the manuals, you're going to see protocols that are going to be more specific to things. If you're just starting out with patches, I would recommend the recommended spots for at least 4 to 6 weeks before starting different aspects. In the energy, if you're using energy enhancer or ice wave, you can utilize them. It's always white on right, tan on left, and you could utilize on any point of the body, and you could do them in a couple different manners. I have YouTube videos that I recommend. Some people patch a little bit differently than others, so when you're reading a manual, and that's why I say everybody goes into their own kind of intuitive state of what they feel flows and balances for them. So I can't really recommend that specifically. I haven't read that manual, but if you just do X39 on the back of the neck at C7 and even putting Eon right here in this faucet area of the neck, you're gonna get great results
This
of balance.
Aeon under my belly button.
Yep,
That's
that's perfect too.
yeah. Okay.
Awesome.
About 3 to 6 weeks before start any other protocols.
You could add other patches. I typically recommend adding other patches after about 2 to 3 weeks. Like you could add a carnosine in to try. You could add an aloe vera in, an energy enhancer. You could start IceWave from the beginning as well. But I would say just trusting every patch that you add and not jumping into it too quickly for your body to adapt and just see what works best for you, and you create your own frequency and your own cadence from there.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Perfect. Brienne said when I started, someone said IceWave and Energy Enhancer can both be used 24 hours, but now I'm hearing only IceWave. You could utilize both for 24 hours. There's no peptides, so there's no time off that you need to take for IceWave and Energy Enhancer because it just works off of polarity. It's like kind of like a magnetic resonance essentially. So you could wear IceWave for 24 hours, you could wear Energy Enhancer for 24 hours, take them off and put a new set on. You don't need any time off. Perfect.
Also, with the protocols too, just make sure that you're not getting yourself overwhelmed by them, because a lot of times when you start reading through the protocols, it makes you feel like you were doing something wrong with the way that you were patching, and there's no right or wrong way to do it. So if you are looking through the protocols and it's overwhelming you, that's a sign that, okay, maybe it's not time to start one of these protocols yet, and just keep with the normal placing them where the pamphlets are telling you to put them for now.
Mhm. Yeah. Easing into it, allowing your body to take the time, not rushing, trying to, add more patches to experience more quick results. I do recommend experiencing the other support patches. They are there to help support vital energy in other areas of the body. The X39 and the YH trio, which is carnosine, glutathione, and eon, is a beautiful marriage paired together with aloe vera. You get so much vital energy pools when you're utilizing all those in some capacity, but you don't have to use them all the time. They don't have to be every day. In the training onboarding system to learn how to patch, I recommend, carnosine 2 to 3 times a week, maybe SP6 3 to 5 times a week, Eon eventually 4 to 5 days a week, aloe vera 5 nights a week and 2 days off. There's great things that you could tap into, but if you try to jump in too quickly, you're probably overwhelming your system. Just start with X39 daily, add Eon in a daily aspect, maybe add an aloe vera, and then move those things as they move forward. Awesome. Well, I know we ran over a little bit, so I would invite you to send me an email with any questions that you have. Get back with the person that sent you here. If you are looking to optimize these patches, if you want samples, get that email to me. I will get those samples mailed out to you. And I just send everybody so much love and gratitude and thanks for attending today. And we're happy to help and support any way to share these with your community. And go out there and be the light and continue being the light even with or without the patches, because we're so grateful for all of the help and healing that you are all bringing to the world. So catch y'all next time, and we'll see you later.